The scenario overview that I picked was from chapter 4. And it was you have owned a small FBO for the past 10 years. It has been successful, but you feel revenues could always be higher. You consider adopting an aggressive marketing campaign where you're approached by a nationwide FBO chain. They would like you to consider joining the chain. They would require you to pay a franchise fee and sacrifice a percentage of your gross revenue. At the same time, however, you would have access to their brand name, which gives you brand recognition and national marketing, as well as standardized procedures and improved efficiencies. Do you remain independent or become part of the chain? What is your thought process in making this decision? And so, for this question, it really comes down to how much control do you want to have over the FBO that you own? Uh, what does that give the customer versus moving on to a larger chain? There's pros and cons. Uh, Either way, you may have a higher profit margin if you stay independent, or you may have a higher profit margin because of the increased revenue that comes with being a part of that larger organization. So, something to think about for sure on both ends of the spectrum. And we'll discuss that more as we move through these slides. So some of the business considerations of the pros of joining that is that standardized procedure, the economies of scale, brand trust, and shared marketing. The cons is that loss of independence. You have franchise fees and reduced local control, and a strategic evaluation based on management and core principles for your operation should all be considered too. Um, Once again, you may have a higher profit margin in the short term if you keep it um, independent, yet there is that economies of scale that you get. And a larger company wants it to be successful, wants to have more profit. So it benefits by making you more profitable. So that's a consideration to think about. What does that company have to offer you? And what can you offer them? It has to kind of match up and meet. So, an independent focus or a local community personalized service, unique brand voice is all going to be really important if you're just owning it yourself. So, you can make that however you want. You could really put a Key West feel on it if for some reason Signature wasn't bought out by Signature and you're just the FBO there. You kind of run the show, everyone knows you in town. It's what you can be part of that community in an independent way. Yet in a national chain, marketing power, loyalty programs, customer uh, families, all that starts coming in. So you're providing more to the outside for sure. You become a destination spot for people who like using the services that a larger corporation would have to offer. And so I also don't know how much you would actually lose in your independence and your individuality as a uh, local FBO in Key West. I think there's a lot of pride in being in Key West, and so I think any company that bought you out would want there to be that local feel to it as well. So for my biblical integration, I chose Proverbs 15:22. Plans fail for lack of counsel, but with many advisors they succeed. This can be applied to decision making and business partnerships. Wisdom, discernment, and good leadership are all important factors that are considered when you make these big decisions. So, for my recommendation, I have decided it would be better to join the larger company but embrace a local community and a unique environment that is Key West, especially if all the modernizations going on the airport. They actually have just updated Signature. It's actually a beautiful FBO. However, if I were running it, it would be a little more tropical than it is, a little more colorful. I feel like it's a very modern and charming building, but in a little bit of a way, it feels like a Pottery Barn store. But I would also invest in the community, deeply invest in the community, be a part of local events, engage in digital marketing, introduced local loyalty programs and community engagement by working with other companies that provide, tourist type services. How can we get the community in there to really enjoy and see the facilities you have to offer? And with that, you just keep that FBO charm while modernizing your outreach both in your community and digitally out to the world for all the tourists coming into Key West. And finally, just going through and talking about what is this FBO I chose. So I really love this FBO. It's a really beautiful spot. It's been great flying out of here when I was down in the Keys with the U.S. Coast Guard. It's located at Key West International Airport, which has a brand new terminal. It's beautiful. Signature Aviation provides general aviation services to both jets and small prop planes. They provide fueling, hangar services, maintenance, concierge, ramp access, tie-down services, and they act as a gateway to Key West, Florida, for both corporate and private flying into Key West. Supports Key West Flight Academy's Key West branch, Florida Keys Flight Academy, which great people over there, good network, and it would be great if they were a part of Liberty. So while not directly attached to Signature, they do support multiple tourist ventures, which includes area tours from Key West Flight Academy, as well as the seaplane operations you see here. And they go out to the Dry Tortugas as their tours. Really great time. Highly recommend it if you have the money. It's a really unique experience.